Welcome back to Mock the Mock, where we take a look at someone else's mock draft. And I'm Mock it, giving you my views, thoughts, and opinions. We got a good one today as we check out the Athletics' own Dane Brugler, and it's a 2-round mock draft with 3 trades for quarterbacks. So can't wait to get into this sucker. But what's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So go ahead, become a bro and subscribe. Leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. As always, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Let's have that nice beautiful football discourse. I have plenty of draft content on the channel, as we'll have my top 150 big board coming out tomorrow. I'm just finishing the overlays on that. Earlier today I talked a little bit about the Hula Bowl and its practices and game, so if you want to check out some of the top performers from that, check out that video from earlier today. We'll talk about the NFLPA Bowl a little bit next week, but let's go ahead and get into this sucker. Special thanks to Underdog Fantasy for sponsoring the video. If you like weekly fantasy or player prop bets, because the betting season don't end when the regular season does, as we still got the divisional playoffs, so you can still get some bets in. Use promo code Broshmo when you sign up at Underdog Fantasy, and they'll match your deposit up to $100. So remember, choose Underdog Fantasy and then use promo code Broshmo and bet responsibly, my friends. Let's go ahead, get into this sucker with the first pick with the Indianapolis Colts. We got a trade. Gojo, you don't like the Colts trading up for pick 1? Who do you want? You want the Chiefs? What you want, Jalen Carter? You want Will Anderson, Gojo? Ah, this Chiefs fan over here, I swear. What are you going to trade to get to 1? Golly. But the Colts trade up. They get Bryce Young. Let's see what he has to say about Bryce Young, just out of curiosity. Blah, 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 blah. All right, here we go. Bryce Young is a complete outlier from the size perspective, which we could kind of all agree on. Especially, those who even don't like Bryce Young can acknowledge how good of a thrower of the football he is. Blah, 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 blah. Young's instincts, vision, and accuracy as a passer are traits worth betting on at the position, which I agree with. So Colts move up. Let's see what the potential trade. The number 1 for the number 4, pick 35, and a first-round pick in 2024. Golly, Gojo. Jeez, over here, just with your subtle commentary. Then we got the Houston Texans going with Will Levis. Listen, I assume this is more predictive because Dane Brugler is a guy that really has his ear to the NFL. Really does. So if he's talking about Will Levis up here at 2, it ain't gonna surprise me if Will Levis goes in the top 5, top 4 in this class. Even though we're not in love with him, he comes from a very translatable offense there at Kentucky. Basically, his 2 former OCs were coaches in the NFL. So the learning curve is not going to be that steep. He's going to be a guy you can start from day 1. He's got high-end traits, opposed to an Anthony Richardson, who the learning curve is going to be much more steep. He didn't come from a very translatable offense under Bill Napier. And then comparing the ceilings of Will Levis and CJ Stroud, obviously I think Will Levis will have the higher ceiling. So him going at 2 really is no surprise to me. Let's go ahead to pick number 3, the Arizona Cardinals. Go Will Anderson. I personally like the idea of the Cardinals staying put at 3 and just taking Will Anderson and Jalen Carter. I know I did a mock draft yesterday. You can go check that out with trades. And I experimented with maybe what if no team really wants to get a trade done with 1 and the trade spot ends up being number 3 to the Cardinals. I don't really think that'll happen, though. I was just, again, with my mock drafts, I just experiment with a lot of different possibilities. So they stay put here. Really, you can't go wrong. Will Anderson, Jalen Carter, they're both the 2 best non-quarterback prospects in this class. And then number 4, I imagine we see CJ Stroud. I forgot the Colts traded up at 1. I'm stupid. Oh, okay. So the Bears get Jalen Carter. This is the beauty about, this is why the Bears traded with the Colts makes so much sense outside of, obviously, the connections with Ryan Poles and Ballard. Is the Bears could drain down to 4 and still get Will Anderson or Jalen Carter. That's the beauty of it. And in this scenario, they're able to get Jalen Carter. Now pick 5, being the Carolina Panthers trade up with the Seattle Seahawks to get CJ Stroud. I like this one a lot too. I think it's very plausible. So basically, the Panthers will trade up to 5. They give away a first rounder this year, next year, and their third rounder. So there's the trade value. Panthers feel like they have to get a quarterback out of this class. It doesn't feel like they're going to be able to do it at 9 unless they are just like, you know what, screw it, send it. We're going to take Anthony Richardson. So Stroud going here. Stroud had a very good playoff game where he showed he really can prevail under pressure and outside of structure. He can extend the play, create with his feet. But we know this is a guy that loves to sit in the pocket and just deliver the football. Dude can throw dots. He's got a good arm, so good pick. All right. I think of this next one's the Detroit Lions. They go Christian Gonzalez. Man, so many people try to play me when I put Christian Gonzalez here at pick 6. Dude, I think this is awesome, man. You need more cornerback help. You get your pick of the top corner in this class. Christian Gonzalez was on Bruce Feldman's freaks list. Him going as high as 6 does not surprise me. So Detroit lands him here. As we can see, the Las Vegas Raiders go with Paris Johnson. So they do need a right tackle. They got Colton Miller there at left tackle, but the right tackle spot's really up for grabs there. The Raiders could obviously go a variety of different ways, but they could go ahead and just grab the top tackle here. I think that's kind of fine. I think that's a-okay. So yeah, they grab him here. We got Pierre Skoronsky. Oh, this one's interesting, going to the Atlanta Falcons. So, like, we know Arthur Smith loves to throw the football. We really do. So, or throw the football, run the football. So, maybe grabbing someone to replace, like, Elijah Wilkins. They're playing the other guard spot, which he was fine at this year. You could also talk about Caleb McGarry, who I think is a free agent. And even Bruce Feldman talks about, originally I had the Falcons keeping Georgia left tackle Broderick Jones in his home state. But Peter Skronsky would give Atlanta a little more flexibility along the line, which is fair. I like the idea of this because we know this team wants to run the football. Tyler Algier looked pretty darn good to end the season. Having weapons, big weapons like Kyle Pitts and Drake London is real nice. So they just keep addressing the offense. I guess maybe you go into this offseason and just try to help that defense via free agency. And then pick 9, Tyree Wilson going to the Seahawks. He just feels like a Seahawk type of player. A guy that'd be a very good run stuffer with some decent pass rush upside. He's just a bit unpolished in that regard, but he's got a huge wingspan. Moves very well for being a 275-pounder. So, yeah, not bad. Pick 10, the Philadelphia Eagles. They will be going with Joey Porter. Very interesting. Well, I mean, to be fair, James Bradbury is a free agent. Darius Slay is up there in dog years. Joey Porter, very solid. Might not be as athletically gifted as like a Christian Rodriguez or a Christian Gonzalez. Gonzalez is just insane. Joey Porter, I still think is a very good athlete, but he's got that length. The NFL really loves at the corner position, and him going here, I think, is very solid. Tennessee Titans go Broderick Jones. Listen, Derrick Henry is the engine to the offense, which means if your offense is going to go through the run back, you got to make sure the offensive line is tip top. And so far, the left side of the offensive line for the Titans is poo. They need to bring back Nate Davis. Looks like they got a good right tackle of the future in Nicholas Petit-Frere. Taylor Lewan, man, I think he could be a cap casualty at the end of the year. Grabbing Broderick Jones, bam, you got a left tackle there, and then you can figure out the left guard position, either the draft or through free agency. All right, we got Brian Brazee going to the Houston Texans. Exceptional value here. Let me let Gojo out real quick. Exceptional value. I know a lot of people are 50-50 on Brian Rosie. You either hate him or you love him. Kind of is what it is, but I think he's going to test out really well. And this is a team that just needs penetration from the defensive front. They kind of lack that. I do like the idea of like Quentin Johnston this pick, but I mean Brian Rosie, if he makes it here at 12, he would be the higher guy on my board, so I'm probably taking a swing on that. And then at 13, Brian Branch going to the New York Jets. I love the idea of this. Immediately he comes in and he takes over for LaMarcus Joyner. He takes over to that role where he could play deep and he could play a little bit in the slot. Brian Branch, I think, easily the best slot player in this class. A very good tackler. Probably the best tackler in this class too. I think he only had one missed tackle this past year, maybe even none. Let me check that. Let me check and confirm. Brian Branch. He had one missed tackle. Okay. So, letting me down. One missed tackle on the season. I thought you were better than that. But I think Brian Branch is going to go a lot higher than people think. The New England Patriots take Myles Murphy. I forgot he was still on the board. That's kind of wild. Big fan of Myles Murphy. I think he's going to test out exceptionally well. And man, can you imagine pairing him up with Matt Judon? Get a legit, like a very versatile body there with Myles Murphy that could occasionally kick inside if you want to bring Joshua Uche, who, yeah, he's this edge rusher, but he also could play off-ball linebacker, and maybe you could scheme up a lot of blitzes from him where he's shooting gaps. So I like this. This just keeps enabling the, I mean, first off, he's a top 5 talent, top 10 player to me. So this is just exceptional value. So I'm kind of on board with that. Oh man, Detroit Lions fans, hold the phone. So this is a trade. They're grabbing Anthony Richardson. So they move up. They give away their second round pick to move up here from 18 with the Packers. So first off, they're trading with the Packers. Don't be like, oh, they would never do this. It's like we've seen in division rivals make trades. Like just a couple of years ago for the Cowboys moved up one spot to get Micah Parsons with the Eagles. So let's not say it's unprecedented. But Anthony Richardson to the Detroit Lions. All right, so okay, thanks to his size, arm, and athleticism, Anthony Richardson is a total freak with the high ceiling, but he's still figuring out how to be a consistent passer. Jared Goff's presence would let Detroit develop Richardson at his own pace, which is kind of fair. So, like, you get 2 first-round picks. As far as I know, most teams only get 1 first-round pick. So, you could really take a big swing of the fences with one of these picks. Anthony Richardson would be that swing to the fences. You could do a lot of fun things with him in this Detroit offense later down the line. So, I'm not opposed to it. And I know there's a lot of Goff truthers out there, which I think is fine. Like, Jared Goff, for me, like, how he played this year, I think enables you to be like, yeah, you know what? We definitely don't have to go quarterback. We could just ride Jared Goff for another year or two, see how it goes. And hopefully maybe he's our guy moving forward. And if not, then we'll figure it out after. So, yeah, I'm kind of cool with really wherever Detroit wants to go with this pick. All right, well, there's Anthony Richardson right there. Let's see what else we got cooking in this draft as we're on to pick 16 with the Washington Commanders taken. We got 2 corners going back-to-back off the board. So the Commanders go with Cam Smith. I think he is very versatile in terms of what scheme he could play. So I think he'd be really good for Jack Del Rio's defense. Pittsburgh Steelers, Devon Witherspoon, another guy that I think is an exceptional fit for Mike Tomlin's defense. They're losing Cam Smith in the offseason, so I think these are 2 back-to-back spots that are very nice for the respective squads. And then this is the Green Bay Packers with the next pick. They go Lucas Van Ness. I'm telling y'all, man, don't sleep on Van Ness anymore. This feels like a very Packer pick, right? Van Ness was not even a starter for the Hawkeyes. It might not have been the most impressive collegiate resume. With his explosive power and upside, though, the Iowa product has the toolsy profile that the Packers covet on the defensive line. I know some people will talk about the extension of Preston Smith. I don't know exactly what his contract is like. We've seen good things from Kingsley and Nagbar-Ree. But I mean, Van Ness is also a very versatile body type who allows him to kind of move along the defensive line. I would say this is an interesting pick. I mean, like a month ago, I think I had the Packers take Tyree Wilson just because again, this feels like something the Packers would do. Tampa Bay Buccaneers go Drew Sanders, so do tell more. Oh, that's right, Lavonte David is a free agent. I forgot about that. So definitely a linebacker could be in play for the Buccaneers if they're not sold on some of the corners in this class with I think all the top corners are off the board. Keely Ringo's still on the board, so he could be a thought here. But yeah, no, linebacker totally could be a thing here. Whether it's Drew Sanders or Trenton Simpson, like I think that would make sense for Tampa Bay. So very interesting. Then Jordan Addison going to the Seahawks. Holy moly. So if the Seahawks invest in Geno Smith for the short term, surrounding him with more talent would be an understandable strategy. The first receiver drafted here. Oh, wow, that's right. Quentin Johnston's still on the board. Jordan Addison has inconsistent play strength, but he is a twitchy athlete with crafty routes and play speed to work at all three levels of the field. Like I said, man, like I've been saying this, Addison, he stretches the field both horizontally and vertically. He's just a great separator in that regard. So, like, this could be, like, a guy you could match up there with Tyler Lockett, but eventually be when you no longer want to pay Tyler Lockett, be the guy that you move forward with. So, yeah, I'm not against that. All right, pick 21. We got the Los Angeles Chargers going with Michael Mayer. No Bijan Robinson yet, mind you. Yeah, I like this pick. Mayer, I think, is top 20 prospect. It's going to be interesting trying to plot where he may go. And, like, what do they have right now? They have Gerald Everett. It's like, yeah, you could definitely upgrade that tight end position if you want to. So, yeah, I'm cool with this. Baltimore Ravens go Keely Ringo. This is a great pickup. This squad will be losing Marcus Peters via free agency. Brandon Stevens isn't a guy I necessarily want to be starting consistently on the outside. So, Keely Ringo would be a good pickup here. All right, we have the Minnesota Vikings going with Dante Banks. Let's read about Dante Banks because I'm not that high on Banks. Between now and the draft, I'm sure we will hear plenty of quarterback talks around the Vikings, but they also need help on the defense, obviously, including the secondary. A cover and clobber corner, Deontay Banks has rangy speed and ball skills. Several NFL teams have second-round grades on the Maryland corner, but others believe he can crack the first round. So let me tell you why I'm not high on Banks. Let me bring Gojo in for this with his insight. All right, so for me, there were too many plays where I thought Banks took off. Like, if he didn't think the play was headed his way, like, he was done. If he felt he was out of the play, then the play was over for him. Also, exceptionally physical and handsy. This guy's going to be flagged heavily, I think, in his first season or so at the NFL level. So, for me, I have Banks quite a bit further down. As you'll see with my big board tomorrow. But, yeah, no, I don't even have him as a first rounder, so I can't even say nothing to this pick. Vikings need a corner, though. The Jacksonville Jaguars go with Darnell Washington. Whoa. All right, the Jaguars draft a big combo tight end late in the first round. Mercedes Lewis, who would go on to be a Pro Bowler in Jacksonville. Darnell Washington is even bigger than Lewis and has better upside as both a pass catcher and a blocker. His unique skill set will mean he's valued differently by offenses, which that's kind of for me, kind of the problem projecting Washington. Like, what offenses would really look at Darnell Washington and be willing to spend a first round or maybe even a top 50 pick and be like, no, we could utilize this guy heavily. There is a role for him, and we really like it. That'll be the question. And I mean, with this, you could still bring back Evan Ingram, as he's more of this lighter tight end, more of a receiving tight end. You get the blocker here. You know, I mean, we know Doug Peterson. He doesn't mind running two tight end sets, so I'm not opposed to this. Quentin Johnston going to the New York Giants. Golly, man, if he makes it here, that is a stellar pick. This is basically better Kenny Golladay. Well, at least Kenny Golladay wasn't good for the Giants, but maybe he could leave this free agency and rekindle that magic he had when he was with the Lions. But I like the idea of Quentin Johnston. Here he is, I think immediately comes in, like... he talks about Isaiah Hodgins here, who I think Johnson probably replaces that role, but Hodgins is a really good depth guy regardless. You got Wandale in the slot. Sterling Shepard will be there. Just getting more receiving talent, I think, is definitely ideal, and this would be super ideal for the Giants. All right, next at 26. Is this the Cowboys? Dallas Cowboys. Siaki Ika. Get a big meaty boy in that run defense. Big meaty boy. They're kind of lacking that. They've taken a couple of swings in the draft to get that, and like with a guy like who's the cat out of Kentucky, Bohanna. Yeah, they've taken a few swings and nothing's really paid off. Siaki Ika, I think, could sneak into the first round for these teams that are looking for that big space eater that has a bit of a pass rushing upside to him. All right, Cincinnati Bengals take Luke Musgrave. With Musgrave, a lot of projections necessary. Like, the dude, I'm not going to move him up until I see him test out or until I see him at the Senior Bowl, because he only played 2 games this season. But he looks like he could be a freaky athlete for the tight end position. So definitely a guy to keep your eye on. Bengals in this scenario take him to be like the Hayden Hurst replacement. Wouldn't mind a tackle here. I really like the idea of maybe Anton Harrison here, but it is what it is. Osiris Torrance going to the Denver Broncos. How many starters will the Broncos have on the offensive line next season? Chains are coming. Osiris Torrance is a large physical guard with vice grip for hands and drive power to create movement in the run game. He could be a starter from day one. Keep in mind, they are probably going to move forward with Quinton Miners at one of the guard positions. So what are you doing with Glasgow? Are you moving him to center? They got Lloyd Cushenberry there as well. Like, I mean, this just kind of opens up a variety of different things the Broncos can do. All right, Buffalo Bills, Antonio Johnson. This is kind of a lot of people like making this pick. And I get why. I see why. They could use safety help over the top with Poyer, I think, is a free agent this season. And then next year, Micah Hyde will be a free agent. So replacing those safeties probably ideal because those guys are pretty up there in age. So Antonio Johnson sneaks into the first round here. Again, another popular pick for the Bills. This is another projection a lot of people make. Kansas City Chiefs go Jackson Smith-Njigba. Oh, man. Can you imagine how scary this would be? Like, I think Kansas City really should go defense, but, like, I'm not opposed to Jackson Smith-Njigba with the stinking Chiefs. They got Sky Moore in there, too. They have... I think they'll have MVS next year as well. Juju, I think, is a free agent. So, like, I'm not against it. It's interesting. It's just adding more firepower. You know, I mean, the Chiefs would be a perfect place, I think, for JSN to go, where he will literally be on the field all the time. Also, Mecole Hardman's a free agent, so yeah, it's kind of insane. Let's see what else we got going on. 31. Philadelphia Eagles. Bijan Robinson. Falling at 32 here. So the last time the Eagles drafted a running back in the first round, Ron Jaworski was... Oh, wait, really? He was a starting quarterback when they drafted? That wasn't Brian Westbrook, was it? Was Brian Westbrook wasn't a first rounder. Cause did he come out of Villanova? So he had to probably be a late rounder, right? He was drafted in the 3rd round. Yeah, I was gonna say Brian Westbrook was before Jaws' time. That's interesting. Like, listen, Bijan's so tough to figure out where he's gonna go. Like, it's gonna be tough. Figuring out his landing spot, it's gonna be interesting. Where, like, I've tried to project this guy to different spots every mock draft I do, just so, you know, we could kind of open our, like, so we could try to figure out where he may land, what makes the most sense. It's gonna be tough, but Miles Sanders is a free agent, so this would be a phenomenal pick. Let's go ahead to round 2 with the Pittsburgh Steelers going Trenton Simpson. Get that Devin Bush replacement. I like that. He's gonna just roll through the next few picks, so I think we will too. Houston Texans, Josh Downs. So they get that receiver they didn't get at pick 12 because they took Brian Brazee. So they grab Downs. I like that. Clark Phillips going to the Cardinals. So they just grabbing more cornerback talent. The Cardinals, they need more talent at the cornerback position. Chicago Bears go BJ Ojolari. So he comes in here. Him. Jalen Carter, golly, that's scary. The Rams, they go with Nolan Smith. They really don't have pass rush outside of Aaron Donald. Seattle Seahawks, Gervon Dexter. I'm not this high on Gervon Dexter. He had a pretty lackluster second half of the season. Finished the year with an 8% win rate. Like, the dude, his high end reps are like beautiful. He just needs to be more consistent. Zach Harrison going to the Raiders. Harrison's a guy that's going to test out exceptionally well, so if he goes this high, doesn't surprise me. Jahmyr Gibbs going to the Panthers. I mean, okay. Let's see. So Fitterer said the Panthers will hunt explosive type players in the draft. Gibbs is okay. Well, if he said that's kind of par for the course. Like, you would think maybe at the receiver position, but maybe they're like, man, let's try to find a Christian McCaffrey again. Maybe that's what they're going for. All right, let's take a look at the other picks coming up here. With Tucker Kraft going to the Saints, Jalen Hyatt going to the Titans, Mozzie Smith going to the Browns. I actually really like that Mozzie Smith pick. They don't really have a big space eater there in the middle for the Browns. Hyatt, it kind of is what it is. I wish they would get probably more, or at least better route runners. I think that would be more ideal. Tucker Kraft there for New Orleans. It's kind of a whatever pick. Like, Kraft probably is a top 50, top 7, or top 60, top 70 player, but I feel like the Saints, there's like, get edge help. You could get offensive interior help. There's other areas you could go. Jets go Cody Mach. I like this pick. Very diverse body type. Very diverse. Or a guy that he's got the movement skills to hang there at tackle, but he honestly might end up being a better guard in the NFL. Tyler Scott from Cincinnati going here at 44. I'm not going to lie to you. I haven't gotten around to Tyler Scott. He's going to be at the Senior Bowl, so I think it's either him or Trey Tucker. It's one of the Cincinnati receivers. Haven't checked out either of those, so I'm hoping to actually do that this week, so I can just be prepared for the Senior Bowl. I like to at least watch all the prospects there at the Senior Bowl before going in and actually watching them at the Senior Bowl. Dalton Kincaid, we know Robert Tunnion's a free agent. We got Rashee Rice, so they get a very nice receiver that can work inside and out. Anton Harrison's exceptionally good value here for the Commanders. A.T. Perry, not in love with. To me, he's just kind of a contested catch guy. So it's like those guys are just a bit lower down my board. We got Matthew Bergeron going to the Steelers, so they get their tackle. Caillou Blue Kelly, this is the highest I've seen him. Him draft, like, yeah, this is the highest I've seen him in a mock in ever. He is a guy that did make my top 150 though. Let's see, the Bucks could try to repeat history 25 years later with Kelly's son. This is Brian Kelly's kid? How did I not know that? I actually really liked Brian Kelly back in the day. Devin A. Chain go to the Dolphins. Everyone likes mocking him there. Oh, speed. The Dolphins are going to love him. No, they'll do. Mike McDaniels has history of being like, hey, you know what? Day 3 or UDFAs or just journeymen. That's how we do the running back position. Manuel Forbes going to the Seahawks is real nice. Cedric Tillman. The Bears just grab another contested catch guy. It's kind of fine. I'm not that high on Tillman. I see him as a day 2 guy, but not near this like 50 range. Jalen Carter, another guy I'm not that high on. Going to the Chargers, Godspeed. Isaiah Foskey, I think would be a good pickup for the Detroit Lions. Getting that rotation on the outside. Keanu Benton kind of becomes, probably fills a nose tackle role for the Jags. Jack Campbell would be a nice pick for the Giants, man. They really got nobody at linebacker. DJ Turner, I think that's kind of a good pick for the Cowboys. As you can see, they've struck out with their last day 2 corners in Wright and Joseph. By the way, Noshawn's brother is in this draft as well. Let's see. We got DeJuan Jones going to the Bengals, so they get tackle help. They desperately need it. Deion White, big pickup, very versatile body type there for the Panthers. I like that. Zay Flowers going down here. Somewhere in this second round, like wide open when it comes to Zay Flowers, because like I'm not even sure how I completely feel about Zay Flowers, just straight up. Mike Morris going to the Chiefs, I think is a very good pickup. Literally fits that Spagnola body type. Derek Hall feels too much like Hassan Reddick. This is a guy that if he's gonna win, I think he has to win from like a Y9. It's not the most bendy guy. Very interested second round, but that's it for the video. Go ahead, let me know what you think in the comment section below. Remember, this isn't my mock draft. I get so many comments about how I'm dog crap and mock drafts, and I'm like, this isn't my mock draft. Like, what do you mean, Sway? What do you mean? But let me know what you think in the comment section below. That's it for the video. Go ahead, do the YouTube thing as always. Till next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.